This is really cool.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go!
Hey everyone, it's George the Antique Nomad, and I am at Cherokee Antique Mall in Cadiz, Kentucky. It's one of my favorite places to come pick. He always has great stuff. This is part of a series of short form videos where we really zero in on certain types of merchandise and talk about what they are and why they're interesting and what prices are in a retail environment. So let's start with this great selection of various crockery and jugs. This one in particular is neat. This is what they call the bee sting pattern. This is blue slip, so it's actually a suspension of color in the glaze so that they can do these designs, and the bee sting is because it comes down here. This one's priced at $5.25. Early crocks that are in good condition are expensive these days. People like them also if they have the name of the company that made them originally. This one's Connolly and Palmer in New Jersey. It's a number 2, meaning a 2-gallon, and it's got this nice leaf pattern on it. This is a similarly stylized piece from an outfit in New York, and then this one is going to be of the most interest to people in this region because it is advertising from Nashville, and that one's priced at $149. A lot of collectors for that sort of thing, and it's not just here in Kentucky. The crockery is very popular all over the country now. He's got a lot of fun sort of toys that we recognize from our childhoods or earlier childhoods. Everything from wooden Fisher-Price toys, and if you see Fisher-Price toys, you really want these that are all wood, as much wood as possible as earlier. This one is Squeaky the Clown. He's a pull toy, and he would have turned around and jumped up and down and squeaked. This guy here is Teddy, and a lot of these older ones, you know, they're going to sell. When he rolled, he would have played lots of sounds and been very annoying, I'm sure, to the parents. But you're going to see prices usually in about a 50 to 75 range on the earlier wooden pieces. I really like the sand toys. He's got this pail here, and this one is $39 for a larger sand bucket. That's actually a pretty good price. Davy Crockett thermos. Even if you see thermoses away from their lunch boxes, these are very collectible. This one's $65 because it's a character, and a lot of times they're missing from the lunch boxes. And so trying to put them back together is a great way to make a collector happy and also make some money in the process. Lots of little tin wheeled vehicles, but we're going to step over here now. Now, Cadiz is known for pigs because it's the center of a big pork industry, and so you will see old ceramic pig banks in this area. And this is a great price on this one, only $12.50 with the mottled glaze. This is going to date sometime to about the 1920s or 30s. The maroon one is going to be probably 1940s. It's priced at $18. The pieces like this, some of the old ones actually could go for $50 or $60, so I'm going to probably come back and buy this guy. Let's see what else we can show you here. There is this wonderful piece here. This is Van Briggle pottery, and this is the tortilla maker, or the corn grinder, and she has been marked down to $125, which is a great price for her. It's got the Anna Van Briggle mark, as well as the CF, which is the person who did this particular piece, and so that makes that interesting. When we see these swirled colored glazes that are all over a piece, this is generally Ozark mountain pottery. These were sold by the roadsides in that part of the country to tourists. Like Limoges pottery out of Minnesota, it's a color application to the surface of the glaze. You notice that it's not on the inside, but these are really more colorful than the Limoges. So $25 is actually a pretty good price on these. This is a company out of Germany that made some really nice ware that people see called Kaiser, and it definitely is a very soft, usually this pure white, an unglazed on the surface porcelain with the glaze on the inside to keep the water out if they're vases. These pieces are both priced about $65 each, and Kaiser pieces do seem like they have a following, especially a lot of these that look like 1980s sort of deco revival are starting to become popular again. As far as ceramics that I like, I've always been a fan of Sasha Brastoff. This has the Sasha B mark, and it is a little dish. Sometimes these are ashtrays. This one's just a place to hide and keep things. It looks like a big mouth opening up. And there is the mark on the back. That means it's from his second factory, because the first factory, they didn't have the rooster on it. But the first factory had a fire and had to be rebuilt in the early 50s. And the top is this cool design here. There is a name to this pattern, and I can't remember what it is. But there's a good reference on Sasha Brastoff called Designed and Signed, and you can definitely find that there. Oh yes, and then this little guy. Blanco did a lot of paperweights in the early 70s. They did not do very many figurals. This is going to be probably a Don Nickerson design from about 1971. And they're actually kind of hard to find. And this one is priced at $20. So that's another thing I'm probably going to take with me. It's a paperweight and it's shaped as a bear. Oh, and it's actually only $12.50, even better. Yeah, that's going to go with me. So let's see what else he's got in here, because he's got a ton of really great stuff. And if we come to the back here, they have a lot of specialties here that are different kinds of things. And so we'll look at some others. But first I wanted to mention, thank you very much for watching this. We really appreciate you viewing. Please click that like button and the thumbs up, and that way everyone will know that you enjoyed this video. And if you are a subscriber, you can click the bell to be notified of future videos. Okay, let's go around the corner here, because there is a dealer here who has a lot of quilts, and we can show you a few things about quilts. I need to learn my quilt patterns better. A lot of folks who watch me are trying to help educate me, and there's good references that show you, but we're near the National Quilt Museum in Paducah, Kentucky. So when you see these older pieces where the fabric is all cotton, no synthetics, and in this case where the bordering tends to be on the thin side, that is very typical of 1930s era quilts, 20s, 30s, and 40s. And this is a nice thin one, so this would have been a summer weight, and it's got a great pattern. It's priced at $125, and I'm going to fold that one really quickly, and we'll pick up a couple more here, because they always have a nice selection. This one is a big fan. Here's the quilt with the fans in it. You always date a quilt by the most recent piece of fabric in it, and it looks to me like we have a lot of 1940s colors in here. Again, it's all cotton, so I do not believe that we are looking at anything newer than 1940s. And the colors are definitely 40s era fabrics with this nice band again. The fun thing with quilts is, of course, for the patterns, sometimes they're repeating patterns like this, but they could use any sort of different pieces of fabric in it to get that effect. And this one is also priced at $125. And let's show you this one, because this looks like something I grew up with. That's a little, this is a crazy quilt, meaning they just took any scraps they had and sewed it into any pattern they could. Now this one is a little more contemporary, and you can tell that because if we flip it over, it has 60s colors in it. And definitely this is more of a polyester or a synthetic fabric. And there's even some 60s psychedelic paisley in it. So this piece is done in the old manner of the 19th century crazy quilts, but this one is a 20th century, more of a lap size or a crib size, and it is priced at $65. So age and the materials used do make a difference as far as these things go. All right, well, let's move on to some other stuff. This is really cool here, actually, and again, a very good price. This is a Brazilian butterfly tray. Butterfly wings are the composition of it. It's got Rio de Janeiro, because a lot were sold there as tourist items, but what's unusual about this is the parrot. That is definitely something different. And at $25, because I sell in Florida in the wintertime, and a lot of people are really interested in these trays from the 40s and 50s, see the solid wood back. That gives us an indication of age. And I think this is a pretty good price too. So it's fun to be showing you these things, but I'm doing a little shopping as we go. Let's see what else we have in here. A couple of swung vases, but these here are the grandparents of the swung vases. They were little bud vases, and they were pulled in a similar manner to the way that they do swung vases. These date to about 1910 typically, and the prices have gone up on these because the prices of swung vases have gone up. This one is priced at $49, this one is at $55. Let's see. Here we have a bunch of old wooden buckets. This is something that people who are into primitives like. As far as age goes, there's certain clues. This one's going to be older. Notice the wooden handle here. Notice the attachment here. Now this is something that was made by a machine, so you're probably looking at 1920s approximately. But it's got nice wood stripping in there, and it's just got a good look. And a lot of the people who buy these, they want the age, but it really is about the look as well. This one is priced at $49.50. I wanted to mention to you folks that we have a new channel. We have just introduced the Antique Nomad Shorts channel, and those are going to be a lot of snippets, 1 minute or less, and they're all going to deal with various tips, little suggestions about ways to identify certain things, just fun stuff that we see out there. So if you are not a subscriber, please go to the Antique Nomad Shorts and you can get some extra content. You can look in the description for the link to that channel, and all that information will be there. We also have the Antique Nomad Live channel, and you can get that information there as well. All right, let's see what we have in here. I've got to look at this guy. He may be contemporary, but we'll see if we can figure out and how. Ah, he's Louisville stoneware. I had a feeling from the weight and the way it was colored that it might be. Now with the green colors and the frog, this is a more recent piece. It's not brand new, but it is well worth the $49. This would have sold for maybe double that at the factory when it was new. So if a recumbent frog is your style, well, that might be for you. Louisville Stoneware is the survivor of the stoneware companies in Louisville. Mary Hadley Stoneware closed in April, so that's a name we're looking for as well. Now this guy here always gets interesting advertising, and there's quite a lot. I'm going to watch out first though. I'm going to show you this because I don't want to step on it. This is a Neptune trolling motor, and these little trolling motors, especially out of the 40s, are very cute, and when they're cleaned up like this, they sell for pretty good prices. This one, I believe, is priced at $1,000, and yes, they can be that expensive depending on the maker. If they work, there's a guy in Michigan who restores these and brings them to shows and puts them on stands, and he can get as much as $2,000 and $3,000 for an old boat motor. So it is definitely something to pay attention to. But as far as advertising signs, well, let's see here. I'm going to try to pull, well, let's look at the stuff that we can get to the easiest. So the old Bear wheel aligning service, that one's priced at $80. The Bull of a clock, this one says that it works and it's priced at $135. The plastic signs are definitely going up in value, and anything related to clocks and watches is usually good in terms of signage. And then, well, let's show this too, because it's thin, and a lot of people, when they see thin metal, they think, oh, that means it's new, but that's not always true. This is a very old sign. You can tell by the wear on the back. You can also tell it was part of a stack for a long time because it got this rippling where moisture affected the back, and that's definitely a way to tell that something was in a pile for a long time. This one is actually made in Hillsboro, but you notice, Hillsboro, Ohio, but you notice the advertising for this grinder is in Spanish, because they realized early on that there is definitely a group of Spanish speakers in this country who have money and are doing things and need products. So this is going to date, they started in 1858. I'd say that this probably dates from this style of lettering to sometime around 1910, 1920. It's priced at $225. Okay, so let's see, we'll go this way past the old Firestone sign. That's a huge one for $2,500. And then we'll turn and look across the aisle at hats, because any of you who have seen my stuff before know that I really enjoy old hats. These are going to price anywhere from about $10 to $20 typically, although some of them are more depending, how does it look? Depending on the style and the quality. these silly caps made, this one's fairly recent, but these silly caps made out of old soda cans and stuff, these started to be a thing as soon as aluminum cans came out in the 1970s. And when you see the older ones, yes, people do collect those now. Everything comes back. This little hat is really fun because this person wrote down all sorts of stuff regarding their trip. It's a 1950s beanie, and they are talking about all the states that they went to. Apparently in September of '53, they went to Yellowstone, and then they went to all these places in Las Vegas. It's really fun just because it's this one-of-a-kind thing that is about somebody's obviously really fun experience that they had. So I could see buying that for a different reason. And then if you're into 70s style, these Mexican hats with the leather inserts are really kind of fun too. And this one is priced at only $20. So with that, I will say it has been really fun to bring this to you, and we will be doing more of these short form subjects where we talk in a very quick method about a bunch of interesting stuff that we see in places that we've been before, because there's always new fresh stock when we go back to a store. So it's really fun to be here bringing this to you. I'm George the Antique Nomad. Check me out at the social links, and all of the different stuff in the description will tell you things like our website, theantiquenomad.com, where you can get appraisal information, all sorts of good stuff. So take a look at all that, and we'll see you soon with more adventures from antique and vintage venues. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below. Click the bell to be notified when new videos upload. Leave a comment below and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.